Now let's queer up the USA view. 1 in 10 Americans have a history of bisexual experience, reflecting a shift in sexual landscape. A new study published in the Journal of Sex Research has reported a significant rise in the number of Americans identifying as bisexual or engaging in bisexual behavior. The research utilized data from the General Social Survey, encompassing over 32,000 participants. The study indicates that 9.6% of respondents reported having both male and female partners, a striking increase of 3 times larger as compared to the 1990s. Interestingly, more participants identified as bisexual than gay or lesbian, showcasing shifting sexual orientations. Using regression analysis, researchers assess the relationship between sexual orientation, behavior, and gender. They discovered a rise in bisexual identification, surpassing gay or lesbian identification. However, there was a reverse trend in sexual partners, with more reporting inclusively same-sex partners. Women were more likely than men to report bisexuality. Younger demographics, particularly those under 30, displayed higher rates of bisexual identification. Researchers attribute these shifts to a more accepting societal landscape and evolving attitudes toward LGBTQ plus individuals. They stress the fluidity of sexual orientation and the importance of acknowledging individual experiences and self-identification. The study calls for further research to understand social constructs of sexual identity. Phew, y'all, that was really
a mouthful, honey, right? But you did it.
It truly was. I'm not sure if things are changing so much as to people are just feeling more comfortable about coming out and speaking the truth.
I have to agree. I've been around bisexuals for a long time, and just because they might be in hiding doesn't mean that they have not been around. So I have to agree with you there. I think that what the environment that the world is right now, it's just more of a, ironically, not so much here in South Florida, but it's more of a acceptance on whom you can love, who you want, who you choose to love, and your chosen family. And I think that bisexuality goes all the way back to that.
Yeah, and I as a proud bi man, I also add to that. I think even in, you guys are gonna roll your eyes when I say this, but even in my lifetime, I've seen a shift in the sort of biphobia that we see.
Why are we rolling our eyes? Because you're so young.
Not to be shady, but you know, I feel like even within the queer community, there is a lot of biphobia. You hear people being like, "Oh, you just pick a side." Like I've heard things like that, and I'm only 25, so it's like, you know, I think there is a point to what you're saying about shifting societal perspectives and kind of coming to understand that people have different experiences with not just their sexuality, but gender that also complicate their experiences with sexuality. Right. And just a more broad, open mindset that we as a community are starting to adapt that I think allows people in our community to more comfortably accept or take on that label. Also noting that is the biggest label in the LGBTQ. We are the biggest demographic in that. So shout out to my fellow bisexuals.
Shout out to the bees, honey.
Well, you know, it says, you know, the study from 1994, but I also think that the introduction of PrEP makes people feel more comfortable that they can actually experiment in who they are and feel comfortable in that phase too. So
yeah, that safety net wasn't there, you know, at some point. So,
you know, I kind of think that the younger people, even me at 59, I'm starting to feel comfortable without the necessity to identify in one of the categories where I would feel so good, where everybody could enter this world exactly who they are, how they were born to be, they're living their truth, and that there's not all of this necessary legislation that's required and rules that are required for just everybody to be welcomed and treated totally equal. So it kind of goes back to this, to what the dream is. When we stop talking about these labels and these identifications, we've really arrived, because we've made it. When it's not big news that an athlete comes out as gay or Bruce Jenner turns into Caitlyn Jenner. When it's not big news, you've arrived, we've arrived, everything you've been fighting for has arrived. And, the identification process has been very stressful to me because I, like you, a professional athlete, I felt like I was straight, bi, now I'm gay. Well, I was something all along. I probably, I'm now 100% gay, or my partner would kill me. But the issue is I'm not a huge fan of all of this self-identification because it still tells the world that we have so much work to do to be accepted and we have to fight and we have to do all this. Yes, we have to do it. But won't it be great in our lifetime if the fighting stops?
I wonder.
We've arrived.
I wonder where pansexual fits in with this.
It fits.
I mean, like with the data.
Yeah. Oh, with the data, I don't.
Like, would that be like bisexual?
So
it would probably have to be its own study.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
From my understanding, it seems that they likely asked a series of questions that got experiences and then labeled folks on a spectrum from straight to gay, with bisexual being like a point in the middle.
Which is what you were on, the spectrum.
I was on the spectrum, and now I'm happily in love for 20 years with an African-American boyfriend. So I'm the Watusi. I'm white. I'm older. I was straight, bi, gay, in love with a black man. So we walk in a restaurant in Mobile, Alabama. We're still nervous. I'm hoping one day that they'll give us a free dinner because they're so happy to see us, right? So I just hope that one day we can stop self-identifying and know that the world accepts us. I don't know if in our lifetime, mine, yours, but the only way it's going to happen is because of people like you who lead your organizations, people like you that share the news, and your youth that's just so inspiring, so smart, so articulate, so beautiful. People will listen, and then maybe the fight becomes a win, and we just celebrate. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice.
I like that.
It would be nice.
I think there is also something too about the frustration with language, I think, and this is something I think, to keep this short and not go on too long of a rant, this is something I think about a lot, is how does the language we are born speaking limit the ways we can describe things, right? So we're all here, we're speaking English, our viewers are listening to this show in English. We are limited by the fact that we were raised and have come to think in a language that has a gender binary, for example, and that has certain concepts, and we speak about male, female, and we assign that to all kinds of things. And so a lot of languages don't actually have gendered pronouns, right? So they might not have a he or she, everyone is they. And for people who speak those languages and then learn English, they struggle with the he, she differentiation because it's not something they have had to conceptualize before. And so I always wonder, what are the words people use to describe themselves in those languages, and how differently might we conceptualize our own experiences with gender and identity if we weren't limited by this colonial language that clouds our view?
I would hope that one day it would be called human being, and all that's not necessary. That'd be neat. One word, universal. We're all human beings. We're all created to live our truth. Live it.
Live it.
I got nothing else to add, honey. I'm like, I agree with everyone's opinion at this table on this article. So